Why are F1 slowing down pit stops? An F1 pit stop is glorious to watch. A team of pit crew working in harmony, unless you're Bottas in Monaco this year, sorry, to change the tyres on an F1 car in sometimes under 2 seconds. If you think about it, there aren't many things you can do in under 2 seconds. Actually, there is one thing that comes to mind, and that's subscribing to the WTF1 YouTube channel by clicking that beautiful red button. I hope you'll forgive me for that awful plug. Anyway, back to pit stops. I mentioned all of that being done in under 2 seconds, and the FIA has decided that it's now a little too fast for their liking and are stepping in to slow things down for safety reasons. The pit stop has always been a part of F1, whether you're changing tyres, refuelling or switching a front wing due to damage. The safe haven for cars, otherwise known as the pits, have always been there in some form, and the aim is always to get the car out of there as quickly as possible. F1 even commercialised the idea of the quickest stop in 2015 with the introduction of the DHL Fastest Pit Stop Award. I highly doubt they'll be able to commercialise the DHL Fastest Pit Stop within the Safety Parameters We've Put in Place award. In a technical directive given to teams, the FIA has suggested that teams change their procedures when completing a pit stop. These changes will come into effect from the 2021 Hungarian Grand Prix. So what are these new rules? Well, there has to be at least 0.2 seconds between the jackman releasing the car and an indication to the driver that they can leave, such as a green traffic light or an old school lollipop board. There can also be no front jack coming off the car until all the wheel guns have proved that they've done their job and done it right, which I'm kinda wondering how they're going to be able to do all of that in a split second. Pit stops can be dangerous when teams are tested to the absolute limit to get the car back out on track, so in theory, it's a sensible safety decision. However, I'm pretty doubtful they'll be able to police it properly when the FIA seems to struggle with the simplest of track limit violations. So who's going to suffer the most with these rule changes, I hear you ask? Well, the team that springs to mind has to be Red Bull. They have always been the team to beat when it comes to taking off 4 wheels and putting them back on again really quickly. Thousands of hours of practice and investment in technology has enabled them to gain a decent amount of time on their competitors in races. On 3 separate occasions this year, Red Bull have achieved a pit stop under 2 seconds. In Bahrain 1.93, Azerbaijan 1.98 and Portugal 1.98. Absolutely mind-boggling times. Understandably, Red Bull boss Christian Horner is not a happy bunny with these new rules being imposed. He has said that to have to hold the car for 0.2 of a second, you could almost argue it's dangerous because you're judging your gaps. The guy that's releasing the car is having to make that judgment, and I think that it's not been well thought through. F1 is about innovation and competition, and seeing pit stops sub 2 seconds is a remarkable feat. We should be encouraging it, not trying to control it, otherwise where does it stop? Good points, Christian. The FIA are of course trying to make the sport as safe as possible, and they want to reduce the amount of mistakes made in pit stops with this small buffer of time imposed for all teams. In pre-season testing this year, Mick Schumacher accidentally left the pit lane with the jack still attached to the car. We've also seen Haas involved in incidents before, with both cars being forced to retire during the 2018 Australian Grand Prix for not attaching wheels correctly to their respective cars. In F1's technical regulations, Article 12.8.4 states that devices which are used to fit or remove wheel fasteners may only be powered by compressed air or nitrogen. Any sensor systems may only act passively. By clarifying the use of sensor systems, the FIA are essentially suggesting pit stops should not just rely on automation, and that when using human reaction times, it's very unlikely that a pit stop could even be under the 2-second mark. So it's no surprise Christian Horner has said some pretty sassy remarks over this new ruling. It affects his team the most. There you have it, why F1 are slowing down pit stops from the 2021 Hungarian Grand Prix. What do you make to the new ruling? Will it affect teams like Red Bull as much as they're saying? Let us know in the comment section below.